A $99 hearing aid can make your kitchen louder, your car louder, and your family still unclear. That is the trap. Many cheap over-the-counter devices are not programmed to your hearing loss. They simply amplify everything so speech stays buried under noise. In this video, I will show you 5 hearing aid brands and categories to be extremely cautious about, plus 2 options actually worth considering. The biggest mistake is not buying cheap. It is buying a device that cannot be properly adjusted. Over-the-counter hearing aids have a specific job. They are meant for adults, age 18 and older, who believe they have mild to moderate hearing loss. That usually means you can still hear people talking, but you miss words in restaurants, meetings, television, or group conversations. They are not designed for children. They are not designed for sudden hearing loss, one-sided hearing loss, ear pain, drainage, dizziness, or severe hearing loss. Those situations need a licensed medical or hearing professional, not an online checkout page. Here is the important distinction. A real over-the-counter hearing aid should give you some way to shape the sound for your hearing needs. That may be through a hearing test in the app, adjustable frequency bands, presets, or remote support. A personal sound amplifier or cheap sound booster usually just turns up the volume around you. Some use medical-looking language, white coats, fake discounts, or tiny print to seem more legitimate than they are. For this video, I am judging brands on fitting control, return policy, customer support, transparency, app quality, and real-world speech clarity. Sound matters, but many devices fail before we even get that far. Before we name brands, here are the red flags that matter more than any advertisement. If a company says doctor recommended, look for the doctor's name, credentials, and what they actually recommend. If it only says Food and Drug Administration registered, that does not mean the hearing aid was individually approved for your ears. If it brags about a military-grade chip, ignore the phrase and look for fitting details. The biggest warning sign is one-size-fits-all sound. Hearing loss is usually different across pitches. Turning everything up can make clattering dishes, traffic, and television background music louder without making speech clearer. That is why some cheap devices feel exciting for 10 minutes, then exhausting in a restaurant. Check the return policy before you check the price. A risky seller hides the trial period, charges a restocking fee, makes returns difficult, or only offers store credit. The first brand we cover looks cheap, but the real cost is what happens after the package arrives. Also watch for no audiogram-based setup, no meaningful app controls, vague customer support, and countdown discounts that reset tomorrow. Good hearing help does not need fake urgency to sell. Never buy number 1, Audion. Audion is popular because the price looks almost impossible to beat. For someone who only wants a little extra volume while watching television, that may be enough. The problem starts when viewers expect it to perform like a personalized over-the-counter hearing aid. Most complaints about devices in this budget category come down to the same few issues: sound that feels like basic amplification, limited fine-tuning, and comfort that depends heavily on whether the included tips happen to fit your ears. If speech is already hard to follow in a noisy room, simply making the room louder may not solve the problem. That does not mean every Audion device is useless. It means the use case is narrow. Very mild, occasional listening help is different from a dependable hearing solution you can wear all day, adjust to your hearing profile, and rely on in restaurants or group conversations. So if cheap is not enough, does paying a little more fix the problem? Never buy number 2, Bossa. Bossa is a brand where the marketing can move faster than the product details. The red flags to check are big discount banners, promises that sound broad enough to fit everyone, and limited explanation of how the device is actually fitted to your hearing needs. That matters because hearing help is not just volume. A simple amplifier can raise voices, dishes, traffic, and background chatter at the same time. In a quiet room, that may feel useful. In a restaurant, it can make the whole soundscape louder without making speech easier to separate. Before buying any Bossa device, look past the sale price and read the return policy carefully. Check how long the trial window is, who pays return shipping, whether there are restocking fees, and how easy it is to reach real support. A refund can matter more than a 50% discount. And the next brand has an even bigger problem: trust and complaint history. Never buy number 3, Nano. Nano Nano is the brand where you should slow down and study the paper trail before you study the product page. Look for Better Business Bureau complaints, refund disputes, shipping complaints, warranty problems, and patterns in customer reviews that mention support going silent after the sale. That matters because hearing aids are not like earbuds. If earbuds sound bad, you return them or buy another pair. If hearing aids are poorly programmed, difficult to adjust, or unsupported, they can sit in a drawer, even though they technically power on. For people with real hearing difficulty, setup support can decide whether the device is useful at all. So treat Nano as a cautionary example. Reputation is not background noise. It is part of the product, and the next danger is different. Brands that feel safer because they show up in stores you already recognize. Never buy number 4, Hearing Assist. Hearing Assist is the kind of brand that can feel reassuring because it appears in familiar retail channels and online marketplaces. But visibility is not the same as clinical usefulness. A product can be easy to buy and still be too limited to match your hearing loss. The main concern is personalization. Many lower-cost over-the-counter hearing aids rely on broad sound presets instead of a precise hearing profile. That may help someone with very mild difficulty in quiet rooms, but it can fall apart in restaurants, group conversations, or places with background noise. User experiences are also mixed, especially around comfort, sound quality, and whether the device can be adjusted enough after purchase. That is where support matters. If the help available is basic troubleshooting, it may not solve a hearing problem that needs real fitting changes. So with Hearing Assist, do not let the retailer do the thinking for you. Convenience gets the box into your hand. Adjustment determines whether it helps your ears. And number 5 has the opposite issue. Stronger branding, but still questionable value for many buyers. Never buy, number 5, Go Hearing. Go Hearing is not the sketchiest brand on this list. The products look more polished, the charging cases are cleaner, and the controls feel simpler than many bargain bin options. That is exactly why the value question matters. A rechargeable case and a sleek earbud-style design do not automatically mean better speech understanding. What you need to check is how much tuning depth you actually get, how strong the app is, and whether the company can help you make meaningful adjustments after you buy. For some people with very mild hearing difficulty, a Go Hearing style device may be enough for television, phone calls, or one-on-one conversation. But if you struggle in restaurants, meetings, or family gatherings, simple amplification can hit its ceiling fast. So before choosing Go Hearing, compare it against stronger over-the-counter competitors at the same price or slightly higher. The better option is usually the one with real personalization, clearer support, and noise handling that matches your daily life. Now let us flip the script and look at what a good over-the-counter hearing aid actually gets right. A worth it over-the-counter hearing aid has to clear 5 bars before brand name even matters. First, it needs real personalization. That means either a true self-fitting test, an audiogram-based setup, or enough tuning control to match your hearing loss. If the only choices are low, medium, and high, you are mostly buying volume. Second, the app has to be reliable. You should be able to adjust sound profiles, change listening modes, check battery levels, and update settings without fighting Bluetooth every day. Third, speech and noise matters. The device should help separate voices from background sound because restaurants, cars, and family gatherings are where cheap amplifiers usually fall apart. Fourth, comfort and battery life have to match real use. A hearing aid that hurts after 2 hours, dies halfway through the day, or needs constant charging will end up in a drawer. And fifth, the company needs transparent pricing, a clear return window, and support you can actually reach. The next 2 brands are not perfect, but they clear enough of these bars to be worth considering, starting with the better choice for people who want human help without paying clinic-level prices. Worth it number 1, Jabra Enhance Select. This is the stronger pick for someone who wants the convenience of buying online, but still wants real guidance after the box arrives. Jabra has a serious hearing technology background through the same parent company connected to ReSound, and that matters. You are not just buying a generic amplifier with a nicer website. The biggest advantage is support. Depending on the package, Jabra Enhance Select can include remote hearing care, video appointments, and follow-up adjustments from hearing professionals. That gives you a more complete fitting process than most over-the-counter brands, especially if you are new to hearing aids and do not know what good should sound like yet. The app also gives you practical control over settings, listening modes, and fine-tuning so you can adjust the devices as you move between home, restaurants, phone calls, and television. The trade-off is price. These cost more than budget amplifiers, and they still do not replace a medical evaluation if you have sudden hearing loss, pain, drainage, dizziness, or one-sided symptoms. Next, there is a simpler option that is easier to find, more affordable, and better suited for pharmacy shoppers. Worth it? Number 2, Lexi or Sony CRE style devices. These are better fits for someone who wants a true over-the-counter experience without dropping into bargain bin amplifier territory. Lexi has built its name around app-guided setup and direct-to-consumer hearing aids, while Sony brings a major electronics brand, established retail presence, and self-fitting models designed for adults with perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. The key feature here is personalization. Instead of one loud volume knob, these devices use an app to walk you through setup, adjust sound profiles, and fine-tune everyday listening. That makes them more credible than no-name devices that simply boost everything, including background noise. The right buyer is tech comfortable, patient enough to run the setup properly, and looking for a simpler purchase than a care-heavy plan like Jabra. The trade-off is that you may get less hands-on professional guidance depending on the model, retailer, and support package. So Lexi and Sony can be worth considering. But before buying any over-the-counter hearing aid, run through one final safety checklist. Before you click buy, run this 60-second checklist. First, get a hearing test, or at least a basic screening if you can. And do not use an over-the-counter device as a workaround if your hearing loss is sudden, only in one ear, painful, or comes with dizziness, ear drainage, or pressure. Those are medical red flags. Second, check the boring stuff before the brand name, return window, warranty, customer support, app compatibility, and replacement parts like tips, domes, filters, and charging cables. If you cannot easily return it, adjust it, or maintain it, skip it. Third, make sure the device can be tuned to your hearing profile, not just made louder. Then test it in 3 real places: watching television, having a one-on-one conversation, and sitting in a noisy restaurant or family gathering. The best hearing aid is not the flashiest one. It is the one you can return, adjust, and actually wear. Thanks for watching. Over-the-counter hearing aids can help, but only if they fit your hearing, your phone, and your daily life. Before you spend money, prioritize adjustability, a real return policy, and credible support. Comment with the brand you are considering, and subscribe for more hearing aid comparisons and setup guides.